Everybody, Dave Anderson here. Just going to go over a couple of the new features available for 2012. So these features will become available on Software Revision 1.20, which is available on Inside Arctic right now. So one of the big complaints or features that people were asking for was a way to test for ground fault. So in the past, if you had a ground fault problem, meaning the SPA tripped the breaker, you used to be able to have the customer go and unplug devices when we had J&J cords. So now that everything's hardwired, there was no easy way for the consumer to go and unplug devices without getting right into the bare bones of the board. So we put a feature in 1.20 that has a ground fault test. So if the SPA has tripped the breaker and you're able to get the breaker back on, you'll enter a ground fault test and you'll be able to walk a customer through it. So I'll show you guys how this works. So we have a SPA running here. Sitting at 71 degrees and everything is down, so the set point is below. So to enter the ground fault test mode, you're going to hold the light key down for 10 seconds until GFT appears on the top side. It'll switch to Celsius, just keep holding it. Okay, and it goes into a ground fault test. So now, and this is the same if you have an Epic, it's going to be the same two buttons. So to enter the ground fault test, I'm going to push the filter key or pump 5 on an Epic, and it's going to turn every component on individually. So the software is going to do that. So we'll just do that now. So first it turns pump 1 on low for a few seconds, then pump 1 on high, and pump 2, and the consumer will be able to watch this, pump 3, and if the breaker trips, they'll know which component was on when the breaker tripped. Okay, pump 4, if there was a pump 4 installed. Pump 5, and if they were blowers, it'd be blower 1 and blower 2 for pump 4 and pump 5. That's the ONS-N. There's the ozone. Okay, the stereo. The Ross exhaust, and now it's going to turn on the heater, but first it needs to run the pump, the lights. LT's the lights. So now we got the heaters pumping, and I just need to click the flow switch closed. Okay, and as long as the heater's allowed to turn on, it'll turn the heater on. There's heater 1 on the Euros. There's a second heater, so it would then turn heater 2 on. And then the heater is going to cool down. And in this case, everything passed the ground fault test. So we'll do it again once it stops. And I'll show you what would happen if a component tripped it. Okay, so we're back at just ground fault test. So I'm going to start it again, but we're going to pretend that pump 3 has tripped the breaker. So we got pump 1 on low, pump 1 on high, and the consumer could watch this and see what trips it as well. Pump 2 turns on, and then pump 3 trips the breaker. Okay, so I just unplugged it. Now the next time you turn the SPA back on, it's going to isolate pump 3 so that everything except pump 3 is now going to work. So you can still use pump 1, it's still going to keep hot, and all the other components will go, just pump 3 won't be allowed to turn on. And what will happen is, I'll just show you once this is done. Okay, when you go to turn pump 3 on, this is set up for 5 pump SPA, so it's actually the blower key. But when you go to turn pump 3 on, it just says GF for ground fault. So pump 1 still works, pump 2 still works, pump 4, pump 5, lights. But when you go to turn the pump 3 on, it just says GF, so it won't allow it to come on. It won't come on during filtration. That way your SPA can stay on until someone gets out to fix it. Okay, once you've come out, you've replaced pump 3 because it trips the breaker. You're going to go into the ground fault menu. Again, hold the light key for 10 seconds. until GFT appears on the top side. Okay, and then to get into that enable disable menu, you're going to push this button, which is pump 3 or pump 4 on an Epic overlay. Okay, and here you can go through, so pump 1 low, you can enable or disable it. 1 is enabled, 0 is disabled. So pump 1 low, pump 1 high, pump 2, and you can see pump 3 is disabled. Okay, so it did it automatically. You'd go in, enable it. Okay, scroll through the menu by pushing the pump 3 or the pump 4 button on an Epic. So you get to the end. You can see you can enable or disable anything manually if you want as well. Ground fault test, and then press 1 to escape. And that's ground fault. Another cool thing about the ground fault test feature is if you're at a show and you're running a dry spa, you can go in and disable all the pumps and the heaters manually or electronically without having to go actually pull the wires. So just to show you what you do at a home show is we'll hold the light key again for 10 seconds till GFT appears on the display. To enter the menu. Okay, and again, pushing the filter button or pump 5 will start the ground fault test. Pushing pump 3 or pump 4 on an Epic, we'll go into the enable disable menu, and we'll just go in and we'll disable all of the pumps. Pump 4, pump 5. We can turn on and off. Ozone. Stereo we'll leave on because we want to play the stereo. The Ross exhaust we can turn off. The lights we'll leave on because we want to demo the lights. And the heater will turn off. And escape. So now this would be a good home show mode, because now we can turn the lights on and off, but everything else we're not going to be able to turn it on.